Am I the asshole for refusing to repay my ex-husband for the college tuition he paid for years ago?
Oh.
No.
If
y'all were married, no.
So for some background, my ex-husband and I ended things over 20 years ago. When our son was 2, he stepped out.
Oh my God.
At that time, I was a stay-at-home mom and going to nursing school full-time. He was paying for my schooling. After he left, I asked if he would keep paying for my school so I could finish with no debt. He agreed, saying it was the least he could do. A few months after that, he got his affair partner pregnant. Once she was pregnant, she demanded he stop paying for my schooling. It was 1/5 of their income, and she said that money needed to go towards their new baby. He refused and kept paying for the remaining year and a half I had left. Over the years, I continued my education, and now I'm a nurse practitioner. I do well for myself, and I never remarried. On to the problem. My son called me and told me that he and his wife are expecting. I was ecstatic. I asked if I could come over sometime during the weekend and give them some things, his favorite stuffy as a child, a check, and some other small sentimental things. He said yes, so I went over earlier today. I came by and I gave him everything, including a check for a few $1,000s for baby stuff, co-pays, the nursery, or anything they may want. My son and his wife thanked me and told me the money would be very helpful. My ex-husband and his wife came over a little while later. They surprised them with dinner and didn't know I'd be there, and they saw the check on the counter. My ex's wife asked about it, and I said, oh, well, I wanted to help out where I could. Everything's so expensive nowadays.
True.
I was really trying to be polite, but I don't think this is any of her business. This woman had the audacity to say, well, maybe since you have all this money, now you can finally pay us back all the money that you took when you went to college. I was dumbfounded. My ex had literally never brought this up to me, paying him back. He always said it was the least he could do for both me and our son. My ex has done very well for himself in his career. I don't see how or why they'd need the money. So I asked them, do you guys need the money or something? And my ex said no. And she said, of course not. It's about principle. I told her I will absolutely not be paying them back for college tuition from over 20 years ago, especially when she ended up in our marital home while I was living in a small apartment, barely making ends meet for years after I initially finished school. I'd never been bitter or mean. I've always been civil since our kids, our siblings, but my blood was boiling. I left shortly after that. According to my son, this has been a point of contention in their marriage. She's brought it up a few times over the years in front of him, and she's insisting to him that he needs to convince me to finally pay back what they're owed. The biggest issue now is that the whole damn family is involved. I got calls from 3 separate family members saying I needed to get over myself and just pay it back.
Am I the asshole for demanding to check my brother's girlfriend's bags before they leave my house? I, 39 female, have a brother, 32 male, Chase. Chase has been with Vivian, 35 female, for almost 2 years now. About a month into their relationship, Vivian got pregnant with my nephew, who's now almost a year old. Vivian also has 2 daughters, 5 female and 8 female, from a previous relationship. Her daughters are very close in age to my daughter, 7 female, and up until last weekend, everyone got along fine. They live in a different state than we do, but they come visit us fairly often, and they stay with us because we have the extra room. Last weekend, they came to stay again, and about an hour before they left, my daughter noticed that a few of her favorite toys were missing. Aw, shit. Aw, Vivian, come on, girl. The girls were playing all weekend, so I didn't think much of it and offered to help her look for them. After about 20 minutes of searching, we couldn't find the toys anywhere, so I asked Vivian's girls if they remembered where they were playing with them last. The girls said no, but they acted a little guilty about it. I asked Chase and Vivian about it. Chase said that he saw the exact toys in the room that Vivian's girls were sleeping in. We went to the room to check, and they weren't there. He asked Vivian if she had moved them when she packed the girls' things that morning. She said they weren't there. We went back into the living room, and I saw Vivian's girls huddled close together over a backpack, and they quickly closed it when they saw we were there. Chase asked the girls again if they knew where the toys were, and this time, they didn't say anything and just looked at their mom. Chase reached for the backpack, and Vivian lost it. She started yelling at me, how dare I accuse her daughters of stealing, and she tried to snatch the bag away. Chase opened the backpack, and there were the missing toys, plus a few more. That's fucking ridiculous. I was absolutely furious. I told her that I wanted to see what else she had, and I demanded she open the 2 suitcases. She said that was an invasion of her privacy and tried to take them and leave. Chase stopped her and made her open them. She had taken several tops, a few skirts and dresses, and a brand new pair of Nikes that belonged to my daughter. I took everything back and told her and her girls they were not allowed back in my home. I've since received several messages from her and a few unknown numbers telling me I embarrassed her and upset her girls because they were promised the items. 1. Chase is upset with her, but said that I was too mean to her in front of everyone and that I could have handled the situation more privately. I do feel awful that her girls left crying, but am I the asshole for how I handled the situation? Edit to add. Answers to a few questions that I keep getting. I'm not sure who promised the girl the items. She wouldn't elaborate, but I'm assuming that it was her. She wanted me to pull her aside into a different room away from Chase and the kids to talk the situation out. Bitch, if I would have took you into a room alone, I would have whooped your ass. So honestly, the safest thing for you was to be in a room full of motherfucking children. Also, yes, I'm 99% sure the baby is my brother's. He's almost a carbon copy of him. I don't believe the girls knew they were stealing the things. I really believe that their mother told them I said that it was okay. We've never had problems with the girls before this. They really seem to be good kids. Also, I'll be talking with my brother tonight or tomorrow to discuss further things. Edit 2. I will be speaking with my brother in about an hour. I've been in contact with someone that knows her and a lot has come to light. I'll update again if my brother says that I can because it's his life and not mine. Vivian is not at all who she claims to be. Well, bitch, who she is. I'm going to need you to grovel, beg, and let your brother know that there is a very, very nosy person on the internet that would love to know exactly who Miss Vivian is.
Am I the asshole for calling police on a neighbor after she keyed my car because of books I write? I'm a single woman in my early 30s, making my living writing and self-publishing adult fiction. By adult fiction, I mean adult fiction, with majority of the plot being steamy. I don't typically tell people what I write, but I do tell them I write books for a living under a pen name. And if you're questioning my writing abilities, I have an editor to correct my mistakes. I am not hiding it per se, but I'm not telling everyone I meet what I do for a living, and none of my neighbors knew, only a bunch of friends. I live in a house alone. Pretty much all of my neighbors are either young families or retired couples. My next door neighbor is a young couple. We've been polite to each other, but haven't been close or anything. Lately, the husband, let's call him Roger, became very friendly towards me, which I tried to ignore, but he's been getting too flirty for my liking, and I started avoiding him. They had a barbecue over the bank holiday weekend, and I was taking rubbish out to put in my bin. Roger looked at me, waved hi, and whispered something to his friend, and they both watched me very carefully, which was incredibly creepy. On my way through my garden, I saw Roger's wife, Dahlia, leaving the house with her friend, and they both looked at me with disgust and whispered something to each other. It was weird, and I hurried back inside. The next morning, I found some religious leaflets put through my letterbox. They were just printed on normal printer paper and were warning about lustful behavior leading to hell, etc. Threw them away, but kept finding similar leaflets put through my letterbox for the next week. Since I am working from home, I decided to see who's leaving those leaflets, and to my surprise, it was Dahlia. I decided to confront her and ask her to stop putting religious leaflets through my door. Despite me being polite, she was not happy. She told me that I should rethink my life because what I write is disgusting. It's pretty vanilla. And she found her husband reading it at night, and you can imagine doing what. She kept going on, how I am going to burn in hell, how I have no morals, etc. Well, I told her to stay away from me and discuss this with her husband, and I closed the door in her face. Don't know who, but someone told them what I do for a living. A day later, I found the word slut painted on my door. A few days later, I caught her keying my car. She was almost done with the word whore. Well, I called the police on her, and since I installed cameras after the slut incident, she is being taken to court over keying my car. I talked to my other neighbor about it because she asked about the police, and she told me that I went overboard, that Dahlia was clearly insecure, but she's a lovely woman and a great mother, and I should have talked to her instead of calling the police and give her a chance to change her behavior. Am I the asshole for calling the police and not giving Dahlia a chance? Top comment. Not the asshole. When people harass you and commit crimes against you, you call the police. Absolute 0 shades of gray in that.